All right, so before we build our custom bookmark page, I thought I would take a few minutes and go over the basics of a web page. That's the HTML and the CSS. So HTML, that's our, you can see it here, hypertext markup language. These are the building blocks of the document. So everything that we do on the web is based on these hypertext documents. And the HTML gives you the structure of the document. Is this a heading? Is this a navigation bar? Is this supposed to be something on the side called an aside? Maybe this is a paragraph and a block quote and pre-formatted text. All of that is defined in the HTML. And every HTML document needs to have the HTML tag. That's this section over here that says HTML. And we're setting the language. It's best practice, especially, it's a big world. So we just set the language as English for us. And when you need more languages, it'll be there for you. And you'll notice that these tags come in pairs. So the first HTML tag is right here at the top, well, below this doc type declaration. We're going to put doc types also. It probably won't break anything for you and me, but again, let's just have it there. There's 50,000 pages of documentation on the web, so we don't have to go into every detail. It might be more than 50,000 now. I should double check that. But you'll notice at the very bottom, I've got another HTML tag. It's in those little brackets like this, except this one has a slash. That's the closing of it. And together, this HTML tag wraps this entire HTML web page. And then within the web page, there's a head, that's this section here, and a body. The head tells you information about the web page. So in this case, it has a title. The title is what you see over on the tab when you open up in a multiple tab, or when you save a bookmark, that's what you see the title. And then the body is everything inside the web page. Now, when I mention this is a basic web page, I mean this is a very basic web page. This is all you get. When you open this web page up in Chrome or Safari or Firefox, you'll see there's the title, My Simple Web Page. And here's the title right here, My Simple, website. I read website and I said web page. Got it. And then there's an H1 that opens and closes around Hello World. H1 means the biggest heading, the top level heading. One of the important things to note about HTML is we use descriptive terms, but we put them in order. The document is read top to bottom. So you put your H1, that's usually what your web page is about. But then the next heading that you have, just like a Word document or chapters in a book, would be an H2. And then if you have a subheading in your H2, that would be an H3. We're not going to build all of that out. And in our example bookmark page that we're going to customize, that part's already done, but it will help us to see what we're looking at. So we'll have a title, an H1, and a body. Now this file, you can actually see the file name on my screenshot, just simple.html. I just copied this from my web page here. I put it into a page on my computer and opened it up in the browser. That was it. There's nothing special. That's all it is. So if the HTML is the description of the document, if it tells you the heading and the navigation and the body, then the CSS, the cascading style sheets, are the rules of how you display those elements. So with CSS, we define a set of rules in a very programming type language, and we say, I want this font on my web page. So here's how you change the font for the entire web page. But you can also define the font separately for your paragraph text or your H1 or your navigation menus. So we can also go through and say, well, I want the web page to be all the way at the top of the browser. Not that's a no margin at the top is 0. But on the left and the right, I want you to set up those margins automatically. So when the web page is smaller than your browser, that's what this width 600 pix means, it will center. And then you can change individual colors. Now I put some color codes here using the pound sign, but you could also just type in blue or red or or Dodger Blue's a favorite one, or Rebecca Purple, or there's all kinds of light yellow. There's a whole list of just English language colors built in. So, what would it look like if we apply those simple CSS rules to the same simple website? Well, now you can see this website looks a little bit different than it did up here. Let me go back and show you. So here's the simple website. It's all the way to the left. Um, I did add one extra sentence here so that you could see we changed the color of the paragraph text separately than the color of the H1, but it's also moved over to the left a little bit because in this tiny screenshot, this website, it takes up most of, even though there's a bunch of blank space. And we can apply these rules a couple of ways. The easiest way is what we're going to do in our bookmark page. We'll put them inside of a style tag in the HTML document. And then you just open the document, it's all included. And then if you want to be a little more advanced, you can link the style sheet to a separate page, and that will open up, let's say you have hundreds or thousands of rules. It happens on a lot of websites. You'd probably want to have that in a separate page. But for us, we're going to have I don't know, maybe 100 on the template. There won't be many things that we have to worry about. Now, one thing, CSS is very advanced. We're not going into classes and IDs, and we're not going to do all that today. So don't get overwhelmed. We're just going to do a simple HTML and CSS basic web page, and then we'll use those skills to customize our bookmark page.